Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we're gonna make an unboxing. Yes, you heard me right, I just couldn't help it. I made myself a little haul. Even though it's really cold outside and there is a high chance that some of these orchids have some damage. We'll keep that in mind. At the same time, today we're gonna start the new series that I told you about last year in December, which is Orchid Seller Review. I want to try out the sellers and nurseries in Europe, of course, in the European Union. I'm gonna show you what I buy, how they arrive. We're gonna talk about the whole process, just so you guys can see from other people how the orchids look like, how they're shipped, and so on and so forth. So today we're gonna start with Orchid Garden, which is not a new nursery for me. I have been ordering from this particular nursery for the past 2 years or so I can actually talk more from experience, and I can already tell you they're not the brightest nursery out there, but that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. I'm actually looking for good customer service. These are live plants. You sometimes get faulty products when you order phones or TVs. You can imagine orchids. They can get damaged on transport, they suffer. Human error always happens, especially with new employees. So receiving less than ideal orchids happens no matter the nursery. It's important how they handle it afterwards, if they're willing to give you a discount or a refund or a replacement. And with Orchid Garden, I kind of always had good relations in this regard. I'll link you down below to other unboxings from them just so you see what I got in the past. And before we get to unbox this, 99% of the sellers that I purchase from have no idea, I think, that I make videos. I don't tell them. Some of them do know Orchid Garden. I think they know because at some point I talked to them about making a giveaway for you guys, but this was about 2 years ago. So if they remember that, they remember that I do make videos. If not, not. I did purchase this myself. It wasn't sent to me. It's not sponsored or anything. I used their eBay account, actually. I purchased through eBay. And with that said, I think the disclaimer section of this video is done. Let's get to unboxing this. If something went wrong here, let's just remember it is January and part of it is my mistake as well. But I do like that they packed everything in this, I don't know, I think it's some sort of polystyrene, but it's the flexible type. Anyway, it is insulating, so I appreciate the extra packaging. Oh, apparently I have a heat pack as well. The thing with heat packs, they work for a few days, but they only last about 2 days or so. So yeah, it's cold. It doesn't really help anything at this point. Oh, there we go. It is designed to release for 40 hours. As usual, they do use their wrapping paper, and in the past I did have some issues with orchids being a little bit too moist for my liking. It's always good to pack orchids dry, even if they're gonna spend a week on transport. And by the way, this package arrived under a week, but the postal services in my country, they're not the fastest. Plus, they don't work in the weekends, so 3 or 4 days they just sat here because. But anyway, even so, it's better to pack orchids dry than wet, because if they're wet, they can rot. So let's see what this package holds, because I feel it a little damp, and that makes me nervous. So let's proceed with the unpapering. Oh dear, oh no. Yeah, this was damp. Okay, so here we have a Cattleya type orchid. And as you can see, she does not look in good condition. Part of it was because this is actually pretty soggy wet. However, part of it is because of the cold. This is clear cold damage. All of the new growths, they're pretty much done for, but that's my fault actually. I do actually have a good growth here, so maybe I can salvage this orchid, but as you can see, it didn't fare well on transport. I'll give it that it was cold, but at the same time, again, packing something wet, it is something reoccurring, sadly, with this nursery, and I had very bad results in the middle of summer as well because of wetness. So it's a split blame here, but I'm also thinking that if stuff were a little drier, maybe the orchid would have fared better. We'll see if there's anything we can say from this one. Yeah, there we have it. Next package is fairly damp as well, which is not good news, but maybe it got damp because of the previous package, who knows. This is a Comparettia. I've always wanted this type of orchid, and I think this actually looks pretty well. One thing I dislike was the packing. You can see it's kind of squished. This doesn't appear to be way too moist, so that's good. Also, it doesn't appear to have suffered from any cold damage, which is good. but it has suffered a little bit from too much pressure. It has been packed a little bit too tight for my liking. And actually in the past I received orchids like this in a sort of container, in a plastic container, which was better because it protected the orchid from being squished and looking like this, but it didn't have some aeration holes. So a good compromise, in my opinion, would be a container in which we can enclose the orchid with some ventilation holes. They don't need to be very, very big holes, but still the orchid needs to breathe. This is still looking okay. I think this is salvageable, but I don't like that it has been squished and packed so tight. Next package doesn't appear to be very wet, so I'm hopeful. Okay, this one actually appears to look pretty good. I don't see any signs of damage, just a little dehydration, but the orchid has a really nice root system and it used to be in bloom, but blooms don't really last on transport, which, you know, it's okay. I don't mind it. This is a Ionocidium Popcorn Haruri. It's actually a really fun looking orchid in the Oncidium Alliance, and I'm actually pretty happy with what I got here. This is supposed to be a small orchid, or a miniature orchid if you want to consider it that way. So it is mature, it is pretty bushy, and has a nice root system. So there's nothing more I can ask for. I kind of unpotted it here by mistake. It looks like it has been potted recently. So with this one, I'm actually pretty good. I think she will be absolutely okay. But there you go, see what a dry packing or medium does. This medium is incredibly dry, it's super dry. And the orchid fared a lot better despite the low temperatures. And the last orchid, I think you can see it is actually very, very wet. I don't have much expectations. This is the sad thing. I told them before that things were pretty wet, and packing stuff wet, it's just the basics of packing orchids. You just don't do it. Yeah, you can see I have mold already, but the orchid, it doesn't look all that bad, so yay, thank goodness. This is another orchid that I really, really wanted. Part of why I actually made this order, even though it was cold, was because they did have some orchids I really, really, really wanted. So I decided to take the risk. This is a Dendrochilum or Dendrochilum wenzelii red. It produces nice, let's say, spurs of flowers which are arching and they're red and they're just beautiful. And also this year I think I will focus on some new species and just new stuff that people don't usually grow. I want to discover together with you guys some new species or hybrids or intergenerics. And this particular orchid was one of them, which was really on my wish list. Alrighty, so let's tidy up everything, give you my final thoughts. And I think I'm gonna make some announcements in this video since we're here as well, and this didn't take all that long. So I'll be back in a sec. And here we are, this is my final order. I think you can tell by the tone of my voice I'm not surprised. And this is because I have been working with these guys for the past 2 years, and I'm kind of expecting at least one orchid to not be okay in every order, which might not be a good thing. But I do appreciate the fact that they do respond to my messages and they're willing to give me a refund or a replacement. Also, their website has been improved. The whole ordering process is actually pretty easy. They accept PayPal, and of course they deliver to my country, which, as we recently found out, not everybody does. For example, Schwerter does not ship to Cyprus. So if any of you wanted to order from Schwerter, don't, they will not ship to you. Getting back to Orchid Garden though, as I was saying, mixed feelings. It's not the greatest nursery out there. I think they're trying, and I think they definitely have some good sides, but when it comes to packing and especially the wet situation, it's not the first time it happens. I will tell them again just so they know for the future. I'm not gonna ask for refunds or anything. It is partially my fault for ordering in January, being that it's very, very cold. But I'm fairly positive that if this orchid would have been dry, I wouldn't have had this much damage. We can see the others, and Cattleyas are usually more robust than anything else, even when it comes to cold. But yeah, there we go. I'll link you down below to other unboxings so you can see the ratio of good stuff versus bad stuff. Obviously, there's more good stuff than bad stuff, but I do see this tendency of not packing orchids correctly, and that's a very, very, very important thing when you're packing orchids. I did also have very good orders from them, don't get me wrong, it's just that I think they can do better. Prices are okay though. So there you have it. Visit the other unboxings. This is my review for January. Keep that in mind as well. And most probably I will continue to order from them because they do have quite nice varieties, but I will try to insist that they do not pack stuff wet. Alrighty, so I think that's about it for this particular review. With other nurseries, of course, we're gonna talk a little bit more with this because with these guys, I have previous orders, so you can check those up. If I have issues with other nurseries, I will post videos after I resolve the issues so I can tell you if they do accept refunds or replacements and stuff of the sorts. I know for a fact that Orchid Garden does, so I think it's about enough for the review. Mixed feelings as always, as some of you guys already know. Let's get to the announcement part of the video. Alrighty, so first of all, as maybe you have already seen on the new banner on my channel, my upload schedule will change slightly, in the sense that we'll go back to a year and a half ago. When I was uploading 5 days a week, I had 2 days off. Well, things don't always go according to plan, and because of the whole YouTube demonetization issues and all of that, uploading 5 times a week was not enough to actually sustain my living. So I had to go back to every day and then at least 6 days a week and so on. But I think now I can go back to 5 days a week once again. And this is not because I don't like to make videos. I do. This year I will try to focus a little bit more on quality over quantity. Let's put it like that. Not because I don't want to talk about orchids. I think I could talk non-stop about orchids, about anything. But the current production process just takes longer than usual. I am already having issues with time as it is for the past years, but now it's really gonna become a little bit too much, so I decided to upload less, increase quality, and maybe I will have a little bit of time to actually enjoy my orchids. If you guys can believe it, I come here, I film, I edit, and until the next day I don't really come here again, which is not okay. And at least in the weekend, I wanna have some time to actually properly enjoy my orchids and tend for them and water them and so on. Not to mention all of the other house stuff, that's a different story which does not concern us. On this channel, we're mainly gonna talk about orchids. So I do wanna have time to actively maintain them. I also want to pre-record stuff. Many times I don't have time to pre-record actually, and that's not okay because as you noticed, some days are without video. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be more consistent than that. And being that this year, as you already know, we are having the Repot Me sponsorship, which will happen once a month. We're gonna make a 12 series, let's say, orchid care videos. All of them will be sponsored by Repot Me. So that income plus, as some of you might have noticed, although that wasn't intentional, there is some merch. And in some territories, not everywhere, it shows under my videos. In my territory, it doesn't show. I was not aware it will show. I am working on it. It's kind of done, the base stuff, and I just order them for myself just to test them out and see how they are and show them to you in a video. But because in some territories, my shop, my Teespring actually, is visible under my videos, I discovered a few orders that I didn't make. So thank you so much. I didn't say anything because I want to see how they look like first, right? I hope you're gonna like them since you purchased them, but anyway, I'm gonna show them to you. I'm gonna talk more about them. What you see right now, if you see it there under my video, is the base thing. It's just supporting my channel thing. The actual, let's say, collector or more artistic stuff will be limited editions. We're gonna start them as the year goes by. You're gonna see, I'm gonna talk about them. This is just the base stuff. Pretty much, you know how we had the donation section, whatever. Now you're gonna actually have something to get if you want to purchase anything. So yeah, that's the whole thing with what you see under my video. If you don't see anything, don't worry about it. I'm gonna talk about it when the time comes. But yeah, just to clarify that, I needed to make my store visible in order to order, to print stuff, you know? I just didn't know it will be visible on YouTube. Anyway, that is that. So with the Repot Me thing and with the merchandise and everything, I can actually cover those days that I'm actually not working, just so I have time to improve everything else pretty much. My upload schedule will be from Monday to Friday. In the weekend, no videos, but sometimes we're gonna have a surprise on Saturdays. It's gonna be a bonus video. The sponsored videos will always be a bonus video. I think that's a good idea. And with that said, I think that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching and for giving me your support and all of those things. With that said, you know the drill. Like or dislike this video below, subscribe to my channel for regular orchid videos, tutorials, Q&As, and other fun orchid subjects. And if you like YouTube to notify you whenever I upload a new video, just turn on those notifications. If you're interested in my setup and the products that I usually use in my grow space, just expand the description. I have everything listed there. And with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!